Have you ever paused to wonder if the next chapter of the Warriors' legacy might not just be written by familiar hands, but by bloodlines intertwined on the hardwood? What if the story we thought was winding down is actually poised for a seismic rebirth, one that defies logic and history simultaneously? Could the blueprint for rekindling the dynasty be hidden in plain sight, whispered between screens and echoes of those who know the game better than most? What's up, Dub Nation? Welcome back to Warriors News Fan Report, your front row seat to every twist and turn in the saga of Golden State's relentless quest for championships. Smash that like button, subscribe to Warriors News Fan Report, and ring that bell so you never miss a second of this saga. Today, we dive headfirst into a tantalizing rumor swirling around the Bay, one that's sending shockwaves through NBA circles and Rick Barry fan pages alike. Picture this, a move so subtle on paper, so cheap in cap space it barely raises eyebrows, yet so profound in potential that it could rewire the very DNA of this Warriors team. Imagine the perfect storm of sharpshooting steamrolling through opposing defenses, a new dimension opening up in an offense already lauded as the greatest in the modern era. Could this mean the league's most lethal three-point weapon is about to share the court with an equally deadly marksman whose name alone carries its own growing weight? Is it possible that Golden State is quietly preparing to unleash a spellbinding cocktail of motion, precision, and dare I say family chemistry? Some insiders whisper that a $3.3 million offseason gamble is bubbling up in the front office war room, a low-risk, high-reward play that's the talk of the town from San Francisco to Charlotte. From the Bay to the East Coast podcasts, you see, the convergence of statistics and stories behind this move reads like a Hollywood script. We're talking about a shooter with an eye-popping 45.7% clip from beyond the arc last seasonal mark. That places him 7th all-time in career three-point percentage, sandwiched ahead of legends like Ray Allen and Steve Nash, and yes, even ahead of the greatest shooter of this generation, Stephen Curry himself. This isn't just any shooter. This is Seth Curry, the younger brother who has long walked in Steph's shadow, but whose numbers demand spotlight. Removed from the bright lights and ring ceremonies, Seth has etched his own legacy as one of the NBA's most efficient silencers. Last season, with the Charlotte team floundering in the standings, he still dropped near historic efficiency, his release so pure it literally tears defenses apart. Now imagine him donning the Warriors' royal blue and gold, stepping into an offense engineered by Steve Kerr, built on cutting, spacing, and relentless ball movement, his hot hand sensed with the wizardry of the two-time MVP. This isn't simply about family reunification for the cameras or sentimental locker room stories. It's a tactical chess move. Golden State's bench shot a modest 36.6% from three last year, a figure that screams out for upgrade, with Steph curling off screens, inviting the double team. The gravity he commands would finally have an outlet partner who can punish from deep without hesitation. The ripple effect on spacing, immense. The pressure on opponents, crushing. The potential for pull, Wiggins, and even Klay Thompson's game as he regains his rhythm, enlightening. Speculation builds. How does Draymond Green's defensive anchoring evolve when his perimeter defenders are less cluttered by weak shooting? What kind of chaos and freedom can the Warriors unleash when his siblings with a near-mythical shooting pedigree link arms on the floor? Beyond the hardwood, the emotional gravity tugs hard at everyone who's followed this franchise, this family. Remember back in 2019, that haunting image of Dell and Sonia Curry in split jerseys during the Western Conference Finals? The world saw a divided allegiance, but behind the scenes, Dell spoke quietly about his hopes. Steph had his rings. We wanted Seth to get his shot. Now, with Steph stepping into his 37th year and still averaging 24 points a night, while nailing over 93% from the foul line, the whispers of time becoming the most unforgiving opponent grow louder. Could this be the final dance with the core that has defined a decade and delivered 3 rings? And if so, what better way to re-energize the title chase than by adding another Curry to the rotation? One who embodies the same relentless work, ethic, and sharpshooting artistry that has become Golden State's heartbeat. Social media and fan forums are already buzzing with electric speculation. Brothers on the same squad, the Splash era rebooted, tweets one fan, while another speculates. Imagine the pick and rolls, the double threes raining down. Seth and Steph on the same team, greatest shooting duo since Run TMC. Pundits debate the cap implications, skeptics challenge the fit, but the undeniable allure of familial synergy and statistical firepower combined is capturing imaginations and dividing opinion alike. Some insiders suggest the front office sees this as a unique, almost poetic chance to prolong the dynasty's window. Perhaps even a subtle message to rivals. We're not done yet. But what do you think about all of this? Is this the missing piece for the Warriors? A brilliant coup that could tip the scales in the grueling Western Conference gauntlet? Or is it an emotional story that won't endure the basketball trial? Personally, as a ride-or-die member of Dub Nation, I believe the marriage of Seth and Steph on Golden State could be the spark that reignites the championship flame just as it begins to flicker. The numbers, the history, the heart, they all point towards something unforgettable waiting to be unleashed. I can't wait to read your thoughts in the comments below. If you're feeling the tremors of this unprecedented possibility coursing through Dub Nation's veins, then hit that like button with the fury of a Curry deep three at the buzzer. Subscribe to Warriors News Fan Report and slam that bell like it's a chase down block in Game 7 because what's coming next could redefine our era. Let's peel back the layers on what it would mean for not only Steph Curry's incandescent superstar arc, but for the Warriors' very soul. Imagine the seismic aftershocks radiating from the addition of Seth Curry for a team that revolutionized spacing, pace, and precision. Plugging in another elite marksman with a career 45.7% from downtown feels like striking gold in the mine thought to be tapped out. Steph's trajectory, the man who crossed the threshold from record-breaking sharpshooter to transcendent basketball savant, is already etched in every highlight reel, every stunned opponent's memory. But what if the symphony he conducts suddenly had a second lead soloist? The big picture is dizzying. The Warriors bench, which limped through the last campaign with crippling inefficiency beyond the arc, would instantly morph from a vulnerable backside to a fortress of relentless threats. It's a chess master's gambit, compelling defenses to extend ridiculously, fracturing their schemes in a league increasingly defined by three-point supremacy. Draymond Green's defensive wizardry, often requiring him to compensate for a porous supporting cast, could thrive without the need for constant help rotations driven by weak shooting behind him. With Seth stretching the floor as effectively as the second-best shooter in franchise history, Draymond could unleash his patented chaos, cutting off lanes, orchestrating switches, protecting the rim, unburdened by coverage gaps. Even the young Horse Pajimski, Kuminga, Moody, whose minutes are mercilessly contested behind a star-studded backcourt, might see their developmental pressure eased by a more reliable perimeter stretch. Poole, whose scoring grenade arsenal exploded last season with an average upward of 18 points a game, could flourish further as scoring options multiply and defenses are forced to respect every inch of the floor, from the top of the key to the corners. The lineup permutations alone spark fever dreams. Steph and Seth's staggering minutes, creating a gravity so fierce it rivals a singular black hole's pull. Do you envision those balletic pick-and-rolls where Seth curls off of Thompson's screens while Wiggins darts unpredictably to the rim? Or moments when Poole detonates from deep with Green prowling nearby for the rebound? The elegance of this potential configuration speaks volumes about Kerr's strategic brilliance and patience. It's a masterclass in maximizing in-house assets and family chemistry over headline-grabbing trades. The lore of the Curry brothers sharing the stage, embodying a sharpshooting dynasty within a dynasty, echoes back decades while propelling us forward. This would be a Hollywood script come to life, channeling the Run TMC trilogy's explosive pace, but imbuing it with the surgical precision of modern analytics, the kind of blueprint that, if successful, could disrupt the power balance across a Western Conference currently buzzing with offensive firepower. Phoenix has been trending upwards, their Devin Booker-led offense blending with a loaded supporting cast. In pursuit of their first ring, Denver's rising superstars, Murray and Jokic, personify the modern fusion of finesse and brute force. LA is juggernauts, the Lakers with their championship pedigree. The Clippers with their star-studded depth are already circling like apex predators. Sensing vulnerability, into this pressure cooker steps Golden State with a new edge, introducing Seth not as a mere role player, but as an equal partner in firepower. Social media explodes. Top analysts like Roy and Shums break the news with calculated optimism, while voices like Andre Iguodala in the locker room whisper the intangible impact such an addition could have on chemistry and locker room morale. Reminders that basketball is as much about heart as it is precision stats. Talk shops on Telegraph Avenue and bar stools in Oakland murmur feverishly. Brothers toggling pick-and-rolls, that synergy that wins titles. Could Seth and Steph be the next killer bees? What about the young guys? Are they squeezed or elevated? The numbers, the stories, the fan fervor mesh into a rising crescendo. Steph, still splashing at a near MVP clip in his 15th season, with nearly 94% from the line, is aging gracefully, but inevitably inching closer to that twilight where the torch must be passed. This move's timing, then, feels less accidental and more strategic, a chance to buy currency in the present, to craft a bridge between the shimmering dynasty we've witnessed and the unknown frontier that lies ahead, with 5 rings in 8 seasons. A revolution seeded by a clutch 2007 playoff upset, we believe, and nurtured through audacious three-point barrages. Golden State is no stranger to rewriting the narrative, but this might just be the boldest leap forward yet. Will this pairing unlock a new offensive alchemy that forces every Western rival into contortions, scrambling to counter a barrage of unstoppable siblings? Could Draymond's defense reach new heights when unshackled by weak external shooting? Will the young energy of Kuminga and Moody breathe free, seeing their roles clarified and intensified rather than obstructed? Or might chemistry crack under the burden of expectation and overlapping egos? Could a crowded, high-octane backcourt spark friction as minutes dwindle and roles clash? The possibility that Seth's polished finesse and Steph's legendary wizardry could coexist or even thrive together mashes sports science with a sense of destiny. The narrative magnetism, 2 brothers plotting a renaissance at Chase Center, reviving a dynasty, defying the gods of aging and adversity, is intoxicating. Imagine late-game scenarios where Seth drills the corner tray off a Curry dribble. Handoff, eyes locked in perfect harmony, defenders left grasping at shadows. Picture the Chase Center roaring to life, the Bay Bridge skyline bearing witness to a symphony of splash after splash, the spirals piercing through the night air with surgical precision. Yet, looming over this grand vision is the haunting question all fans must wrestle with. Will this arc, is gamble the quiet $3.3 million investment in Seth Curry, go down in Dub Nation lore as the turning point where the Warriors reclaimed their throne, or will it fade into a footnote in a team's twilight years? An experiment that failed to ignite? Personally, as a ride-or-die fan pulsing with every dribble and three-point swish, I'm convinced this is the spark that could stoke the fading embers into a roaring wildfire. The alignment of history, heart, and cold, hard numbers all converge toward an electrifying possibility that the Chase Center is about to erupt once again. But this is our moment to hold our breath and watch as the blueprint unfolds. So if your heart's pounding with the electricity crashing through the bay, smash that like button, flood the comments with your hottest takes, and stay dialed into Warriors News Fan Report, because the saga of Golden State's next great chapter is just beginning, and you know we'll be there for every slam dunk, every buzzer beater, and every moment where the Splash Brothers, united by blood and fire, remind the world why the Bay is basketball's brightest beacon. Asterisk, the perfect storm is gathering, and if the front office pulls this trigger just right, we could witness the genesis of a new Warriors dynasty, one that dances on the edge of innovation and tradition, ready to electrify the league all over again. So if you feel that crackling electricity in the air, hit that like button, pour your heart into the comments below, and lock in tight with Warriors News Fan Report, because this story is only just heating up, and your front row seat to history is guaranteed right here in blue and gold.